Observer, Ralph Phillips here. Today we're going to watch the defense, all 22. I wanted to have this done yesterday, but I got so wrapped up in showing penalties and busted coverage and stuff that we never got around. I think we did the first defensive series on all 22. We're going to cover the whole game today and see exactly who did what, who did good, who did okay, who sucked. I think you could pretty much say everybody did. But, like I said, we're going to summarize, what I said yesterday. We'll do a summary on all that. But there were issues. There was busted coverage. We only had 2 of them. That surprised me. Normally we have more than that. We had missed tackles. We had 8 of those, but 3 of them were on one play, and most of the missed tackles were on Bijan Robinson. It wasn't so much our guys as it was that Bijan's just really good at making people miss. We had Todd Bowles had really only one play call that made me scratch my head, which is highly unusual for him. Normally, what's up, Morty? Howdy. That's how I greet people all the time. I don't know where I got it from. I've been doing it for probably 30 years. I don't say hi. I say howdy, like I'm a cowboy or something. Howdy. So Todd Bowles actually called a pretty decent game, probably one of the better games he's called. There was late in the fourth quarter, he called a cover 4 zone on a 3rd and 2, which y'all know how I feel about that. But other than that, most of it was pretty decent. Our front, not getting a lot of pressure. We'll go over all that. Charlie Warner, number 89, their tight end. He's a good blocker. But, and we blitzed 14 times, which was a lot more than I thought. I can't remember. I think they had 44 passes Sunday. Is that what I saw? 44, and we blitzed 14. So that's about our average. Our average is right around 30%. But for the past few weeks, we haven't been blitzing. 3 weeks in a row, we blitzed in the single digits. So, 44 pass attempts is what Cousins had. So what is 14 of 44? Let's do some math here. I know that's what everybody comes to watch Buccaneers Observer for, is math. Let me see. We would do 14, 44. Yeah, 32%. So about our average, which surprised me because if you watched my rant, my instant reaction, I complained that we didn't blitz enough. We only blitzed during their last offensive possession. And I was wrong. Totally wrong about that. I was wrong about a lot of stuff. But, and Todd Bowles had a couple of coaching blunders like he always does. It's like I said yesterday, I can never recall once where I went, hey, that was very strategic by Todd Bowles. Never once. It's always, he's just kind of blundering through games, a lot of mistakes you see with time management, play calls, personnel management, not calling for reviews, not calling timeout, just stuff like that. He's just not good at it. It's just, that's just something we've had to live with. So he had a few of those in this game and everything. But with all that being said, the number one issue I feel like that hurt us the most, and I found this completely shocking watching the game, was the referees. I know that the Falcons had, I think it was 19 penalties go against them. They had 20 called on them, but we only accepted 19. But I counted 14 uncalled penalties. I counted 2 the screw-ups by the refs, where they didn't stop the clock when they were supposed to and stuff like that. So all the other stuff we've dealt with and everything, but the refereeing was just over the top. And I feel like it was, if you had to point to one thing and say that's why we lost, I would hand it to the refs. The refs killed us in this game now, which is completely shocking to me because you think with 19 penalties being accepted that the team, that there wouldn't be any more penalties on the table, but the refs only called about half the penalties, and they just weren't very good. The refs were pretty bad in this game, and most of it went pro Falcons. But the Buccaneers didn't. The bad thing about it is that when teams play like this, the Buccaneers don't respond well. They basically just kind of let it happen to them. So, and that's what they did in this game. And so when it all comes down to it, I am not saying that, the defense did well or the Bulls did well or none of that mess, not at all. But what I am saying is that the biggest factor was the refs. Now, all the other stuff was bad, but it was small compared to that. Do I still think that Todd Bowles is going to get fired? Yes, I do. Unless a complete miracle happens, unless he, this team really comes back and shows some serious heart, we go to the playoffs and we win 2 games. Anything short of that, he's gone, man. Pretty sure. I've been a fan of the Bucs for a long time. The Glazers have certain things that they look for in coaches, and losing the team is not one of them. I can say with confidence, they're not big fans of that. What's up, Pat? You appreciate him tossing the players under the bus? No, I did not. And Marty, I'm very curious to see how the team responds. I've never liked how Todd Bowles always kind of blames it on the players. He'll do that phrase. He says, we got to coach it better. We got to execute it better. We got to coach it better. We got to play it better is what he always says. But he always, kind of throws the players under the bus. I've always felt like, but he's never called players out specifically, which I don't like. I want to know who you're talking about here. But I did not like him really throwing the players under the bus. He just came out right and said the coaches can't do any more than we've already done. This was all on the players. And I'm like, come on, dude. I get it. You're angry. I was angry, but that's almost a surefire way to lose a locker room. Not a big fan of that. Didn't like it. The biggest timeout fail was not using at least one of them during the strip fumble. They were wasted. Yeah, he always does, Marty. He's not good at managing. And honestly, you got to ask yourself, what is he good at? What is he good at? I don't think he's good with the players. I don't think they respect him. I think they like him. I don't think they respect him. I think they kind of, like with most players, they'll take advantage of you if you're too lenient. And he's definitely way too lenient. Like I was saying yesterday, I don't see players improve under him. I think it was Craig brought up Tyke Smith, and I'm like, yeah, but Tyke's getting hurt all the time now. And, but if you look at, like Wirfs is getting worse, Bucky's getting worse. None of our running backs have really progressed. Our linebackers haven't progressed. None of our cornerbacks can ever seem to. The Jamel Dean, I was a big Jamel Dean fan. I thought he had a lot of potential, and he just plateaued and never has gotten better. I think Winfield has gotten worse. I think he's put Levante David in a position to make him, to not let Levante use his strengths. I don't know what Todd Bowles is good at. Because it's not clock management. It's not timeouts. It's not field generalship. It's not encouraging players. It's not strategic play calls. It's not having the defense ready. It's, I don't know what you could point at and say this guy stands shoulders and head above everybody else. There's nothing there. There's nothing. So I'm not giving Todd Bowles a pass when I say the refs really screwed us in this game. I was shocked by it, so I thought I'd bring that up. What's up, Zebra? We got to see the Vita package tonight. Yeah, we'll pull it up. I watched it. It was one of the first things I watched of it. It's really good. He runs the whole. Unfortunately, it was Oh gosh, who? Oh, Payne Durham misses a block on the outside, and that guy comes inside, and it caused Bucky to. He wasn't able to run right behind Feeney. Feeney pulls two, so we had Vita and Feeney just clearing that hole, and unfortunately, Bucky was not able to get right behind them. Because I think it was Bucky, right? But the running back was not able to get right behind them. He had to kind of squeeze in from the side because the guy, the outside linebacker or defensive end, the Falcons play 3-4, right? So outside linebacker, he was able to come in and cause the running back to not be able to go right behind Vita, which sucked because it would have looked really nice for him to just pop on through untouched, which he would have been. But we'll look at it. Yeah. That was a good one. Oh, Marty, to how the players are going to react, Mike Evans and Will Golston, I don't know what that was about. He's not even on the team anymore. We're on the Buccaneers radio network with Casey Phillips for a whole hour. And Mike Evans had a really good attitude. And he was saying, even though things didn't go the way we wanted to Sunday, it was only a fraction of what we're able to do. And he was talking about how, he thinks that the team's going to pull together and get some more wins and take it to the playoffs. So that was encouraging. I was like, oh, okay. He was in really good spirits, which I was happy to see. So we'll see. I'm very anxious to see how they're going to play. We have found out that Benjamin Morrison is most likely going to be the starting cornerback over Vildor, which, again, I just don't understand. Benjamin Moore, this is a serious game. This game coming up means a lot. The Falcons game meant a lot. And for us to put Goetz out as a starter, Nick Jackson as a starter, Vildor out there, Benjamin Morrison has only got a few more snaps than Vildor does on the season. And I'm like, what happens if Benjamin Morrison gets hurt, which most likely he will? What are you going to put Vildor back in? I don't know. This team doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. What's up, Pat? What's up, Tom? Boss is better than McVay. Tom on the opiates again. It was Tucker? Okay. Yeah. I don't understand what SB, I don't understand what it is about Todd Bowles that what's he even do? I really don't know. He calls defensive plays. I'm pretty sure, not 100% positive, because I have heard players say that the other defensive coaches call plays. But I don't know what what is he? He's got a complex defense. I don't think that's a good thing. It should, at this point, after 7 years, these guys should have it down. He should be able to coach it so well that a rookie coming in should be able to grasp it relatively quickly. But after 7 years, you still got guys like Levante David who are busting coverage because it's just too complex, man. It's too complex. So I don't know what Bowles is good for. He had a song changes or, oh, wow. I didn't know that. I saw a thing going around too about Winfield's dad. He used to be an NFL player, had liked a post saying that Bowles was no good or something. But it's one of those things. I don't know if it was a fake account or whatever, but it wouldn't surprise me. and that's another thing. Who is Bowles talking about when he's saying that there's you've got to treat this as more than just a job? Who is he talking about there? Is it Winfield? Is it Reddick? Is it Vildor? I don't know why he would throw Vildor under the bus like that. Vildor's he's our third string cornerback. You can't expect much from him, right? I don't know. Mike sounded more eloquent these days. Yeah, and he talks about that too. And I talked about it uh, with Brian Ford, the president of the Buccaneers. With that, it's amazing at how different Mike Evans is than when he first entered the league. First few years, he was a liability, man. We lost one game in the particular that I can remember because of his antics. And he talked about that in this interview about how he's gotten more level-headed and all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely much more wise, grown-up, mature, eloquent, very, very, very good public speaker now. He doesn't do and like and repetitive phrases and stuff like that. So I think he's got a lot of practice. Players over plays, and we don't have the players. I I think the defense is just too complex. Like Rondé Barber was saying, and it's a problem with clipboard carrier style coaches. We had it with Cutter. You know, they can't adjust to the players, and use their strengths. They've got their schemes and their designs and all that good stuff, and they really try to fit square pegs and round holes, getting players to do this because they're so absorbed with in theory, their stuff should work. And that's one thing that bothers me with Bowles when he says that, the players got to execute better. I'm like, no, maybe your crap just isn't good. You got to think about that. Maybe it doesn't fit the personnel or whatever, because this has been 7 years and we've just had the same problems. They're getting worse, actually. So maybe you need to adjust a little bit here. And I get his concepts, but at the same time, man, when you got guys turned around running downfield 15 yards with their back to the quarterback because they're trying to get to their spot, it's just a recipe for disaster all the time. And it happens so much. It happened in this game. Levante busted coverage because he's turned around running. Yeah. Coaching malpractice in Tampa. Yeah. It was Winfield? Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah, Marty. 100%. Yeah. I don't care if they're rah-rah guys or if they're out there, whatever. I just want them to do their job, man. If you're not performing at your job, we can find somebody that will. Yeah. It's a huge game, Joe. Huge game. I know it's in Charlotte too. And I was thinking about going, man. I haven't told Molly yet, but I'm like, gosh, I feel like I need to go represent the Bucs, but I'll end up getting angry and getting in a fight if we lose. So, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It's a few hours away. All trades master, none. Yeah, defensive scheme. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is so annoying with Todd Bowles in that. He wants everybody to be a jack of all trades. And I don't think Todd Bowles had anything to do with Vita Vea, but, drafting Vita Vea. But if you notice, everybody we've drafted since then have been athletic guys, not the big bruisers like Vita. He likes these athletic guys that could do everything. I'm like, man, I think after so many years, you should go, all right, my crap ain't working. I need to adjust it. Yeah, you got to have that four-man pressure. You got to. And we're not doing it. We haven't done it for 3 years. Now, when Cansey is in there, we can get pressure. But unfortunately, our back end has been so sloppy that anytime we've gotten pressure, there's a free guy open. Or even worse yet, and this is the tough part, is that they'll throw it to a covered guy. They have no fear of our cornerbacks or secondary at all. No fear. What's up, MH? Yeah, they rarely audible out of the defense. Rarely. Yeah. Bowles has got full control of this. He doesn't. I don't think he's a big fan of letting Levante David decide what the play is going to be. The Todd Bowles show tomorrow. Oh, I'm gonna end up listening to it. I'm not gonna be happy about it though. Only have to beat the Panthers one time. That's if we beat the Dolphins too, right? Don't we have to win two of the next three? We got to win two of the next three. I'm pretty sure. If we win two of the next three, we're in no matter what the Panthers do. And if the Panthers lose the Seattle game, then I think we only have to win one. So there's a good chance they're going to lose the Seattle game. Panthers aren't that good. Yeah, I watched the Saints game, and it is Dave Canales' play calling. Look, some boots to the left, boots to the right, mid zone runs, screen passes, throw it downfield. Oh, and we got to be careful with Bryce running. He's scrambling a lot now. Their offensive line is pretty decent. Oh my gosh. Yeah, if the last game we need to win, we're done. Yeah, Chris, a lot of people are blaming Vildor for that, and yes, he was at fault to a degree, but I blame Winfield more on that play. For any number of reasons. We'll go over it, and I'll show you the sequence of events that happened that caused Vildor to play the way he did on that play. And I think when I step through it and show you, you'll go, oh, okay, I see why he didn't drop back like that. But Winfield should have known. Winfield should have known. He had no reason to drift over as far as he did to the middle, yeah, he should have known better. Just beat the Panthers one time. That's all we got to do it, man. Yeah, I want to sweep them though. I want we got to sweep one of the division teams this year, and I would love it to beat the Panthers. Oh, you're going to beat the Dolphins game, zebra. What's up with the Dolphins, man? I thought they were playing well, and then that game against Pittsburgh, they look like crap. And then you see Coach was talking, McDaniels talking about taking Tua out. I mean, who's he going to start? Zach Wilson? I mean, you should have done that at least by week 3 or 4 because he's just playing like crap. Yeah, I've never thought he was a good quarterback, but it's kind of late in the season to make that change, right? I don't know. But I don't want to go up against a backup quarterback. We're just going to get torched. That's what happens. Yeah, Joe, and that's one of the things about with the All-22 we're going to look at here. I didn't see anybody that wasn't playing hard, and it felt like when I was watching the broadcast that the guys were loafing and everything. Now, after the 3 and 28 or the 4th and 14 play, then there were guys loafing, but. Throughout the game, everybody was trying. All-22 was not what I expected it to be. Again, it's weird how that happens. Yeah, doing it this late, he's just trying to save his job or something. And he might have, the Dolphins have made a pretty good turnaround as far as record-wise. Okay, so, yeah, the Bucs have signed linebacker Anthony Walker Jr. to the active roster. Somebody brought that up yesterday, but today we signed him to the active roster, and we signed defensive lineman C.J. Brewer to the practice squad, put him back down to the practice squad. Or did we bring him back? How old is this? Zion McCullum's been put on injured reserve, so he's out for the year. And we released wide receiver Brandon Johnson from the practice squad. So that's it. Did y'all see Max Crosby yelling at Devin White? at the Raiders-Eagles game. Yeah, Max Crosby got all up in his face and was yelling at him to set the edge or something. And I watched replays of that game or that play when the Eagles scored a touchdown. And it was just typical Devin White. He just kind of slacked off going after the guy and got caught up in the mess. I don't know if he was supposed to be, it didn't look to me like he was supposed to be the edge setter. It looked like Max Crosby was, and he just got whooped by a tight end. But it did look like Devin White got in Max Crosby's way towards the end there. So I don't know. I just think it's interesting that Devin White is having issues at another team with fellow players. When you get Max Crosby mad at you, I don't think he's going to be a Raider next year. Probably either Max Crosby or Devin White. Okay, so here's things we were talking about yesterday. Another recap. I was mad that the team got 3 days off after that loss. I think that they should have had to come back, watch film Saturday or something Friday. I would have made them come back Friday. I was angry at Todd Bowles when he said that. When he said, yeah, well, when the team comes back Monday, we'll decide. And, it might be the rules, playing on after a Thursday night, Sunday. I don't know. The NFL rules are weird. But I was angry. I was like, these guys do not deserve 3 days off. 97, Adam Goetz started the game. He only played 8 snaps, but he started the game at outside linebacker, which means Anthony Nelson and Hassan Riddick were substitute players. They were listed as substitute players. It goes in the records as Goetz starting and them being substitute guys. That's a pretty big thing because, when contract time rolls around, they can't say, oh, I've started so many games or whatever. They got a name or a game pegged for them. So there was a statement being made there, and I don't know what it was. Nick Jackson started the game inside linebacker. That kind of shocked me. I thought Deion Jones played pretty well last week for Servassier Dennis. I don't know why Nick Jackson, who has never started this game. So we had Goetz and Nick Jackson, 2 guys that have never played for us, starting the game. And we had Vildor as the replacement for McCollum. And that kind of surprised me too. I know Vildor's been a rotational guy, but he's only got 190 snaps this year. We've got guys on, he's listed as our third string cornerback. And we've got guys in front of him that have 200, 300. We have one guy that's got 435 snaps with us, Merriweather. I don't know. Bryce Hall, why is he still on the practice squad? He's had one game, 17 snaps with us in 2 years. What's that all about? I don't know. Anyhow, Anthony Nelson had about the same amount as Braswell. He had one snap more than Braswell, which is kind of shocking because Anthony Nelson was a starter for the whole time Derek Riddick was out. I don't know. This team was weird. I don't know what Todd Bowles was doing. He was definitely making a statement with the Goetz stuff, with Nick Jackson, and I think with Vildor, all 3 of them. I think he was making a statement with these guys, and I'm like, this isn't the game to make statements, I don't think. I wanted to win. Oh, yeah, the Raymond James has got to change their grass. I don't know what's going on, what's happened. For years, it's been kind of sloppy. It seems like it's getting sloppier every year. But the past 3 weeks, it's been really bad. Really bad. I know it rained in the Saints game really bad, but still, this grass was horrible in this game. Guys slipping all over the place. I claim that the Bucs are not doing enough. I said that in my instant reaction, that I feel like I have more passion than Todd Bowles does and some of these players, and I don't even get paid for this. I actually the NFL makes money off of this because I'm showing their stuff, and they take my videos, they copyright they copyright my videos, and then they get the money for it, for ads and stuff. I don't put ads on there. That's why you're not getting any ads now. But, I got to thinking about that, and I was like, I can't really say a whole lot because this year I've been really slack. I had a lot going on, new baby, all that good stuff. And, I kind of slacked off with the fantasy football, which congrats to Creamsicle Crushers, Up the Gut, Rampage. Let me see. Danny Spies, Creamsicle Crushers, Adam Satterley. He's just killed it this year. I'm the only one that beat him this year in fantasy football. And Raw Springer. Congrats to these guys. They've done really good. They are in the Final Four. Rampage, good job, buddy. Me, I got bopped out this week. So me and Craig got bopped out last week too. Me and Craig are playing for our consolation winner prize. But anyhow, didn't do a whole lot with that. Getting it set up and everything. I haven't done up a whole lot with the score prediction stuff. I'm not even keeping the banner, the ticker going at the bottom and everything. It's just, I have been doing good with the game film, but, we haven't even done the, preview game film that we watch normally. I haven't done that. But, so I haven't really been putting a whole lot into as much as I'd like to this year. So hopefully next year we'll get back on track. But I shouldn't complain about them when I'm not doing my part as a fan. Just wanted to throw out there. I did want to re-emphasize the play on 3rd and 28, or I think it was 4th and 14, when we went through the uncalled penalties, and we'll look at it here in a little bit. The Pitts false starting and it not getting called. I think we got sidetracked, and I didn't really point it out in that play, so I want to make sure I do that in this one. So let's look at this. I know we went over the first defensive series yesterday, but let's go over it again real quick. On this one, this is the first play of the game. Levante David gets off his block. It's a lineman. It's really nice. He had a pretty good game. He made some mistakes, had a few mistakes, but he played pretty good. Much better than he has all year, I feel like. But on this one, Logan Hall gets taken to the ground. I think 71. Yeah, 71 just drives him way over here and then makes him eat dirt. They run right at him. I'm not a big Logan Hall fan. Y'all know that. But, and he's running right at Logan Hall's spot. But you can see Levante David. This is a lineman coming out to block Levante's second level, and he just makes light work of that dude, and he comes in and makes the tackle. I've seen Levante David do this his whole career. He's elite level at getting off blocks, and it's just nice to see him do stuff like that. But yeah, you can see Logan Hall gets taken, just face planted right in the dirt by 71. It's just not a good look. The very next play, Logan Hall again gets knocked on his butt. Izzy misses a tackle here. And Vita gets briefly held. Where's Vita? Right here. Yeah, you can see he's getting held by 64. It's kind of brief, but it's there. I didn't write this down as an uncalled penalty, though, because it was so brief. Izzy misses a tackle. And again, this isn't like a bad tackle. He does slip. But, Bijan is just such a good, I hate it when they launch, but he is slipping right here. So, but you can see Logan Hall, he's getting pushed back. Look how far down the field he's been pushed. What's that? 5 yards right there. And then he gets pushed over his own player, knocked on his butt. This is going to happen every now and then, but it just happens way too often with him. Here we are. This is the third play. This is the one where Levante, he blitzes in, and this is zone coverage, but Levante goes over and he ends up running man. He ends up running and covering this guy man and leaves his whole zone. He's supposed to be covering this zone right here, and he leaves it wide open, and Pitts is able to go in there and get that catch. That's only one of two busted coverages in this game, which is not bad for our defense to only have two busted coverages. And then this is the last play on the series before they punt. And I just wanted to point out tight end blocking Hassan Reddick. That's a huge gap he's leaving open there too. And you can see 71. Oh, look. 77 comes out and he's just like hanging out. And then comes over and blocks Reddick a little bit. But, no, I'm not pointing out the tight end blocking Reddick like tight ends can't block outside linebackers, but it happens too much for my liking. It's going to happen every now and then where they get a good block on you or they get leverage or whatever. But with Reddick, it happens too much. A little bit with Yaya too, but not as much as Reddick. Reddick on this play again gets blocked by 89. This is the first play of the second defensive series. He just gets stood up there. I mean, you can see we're getting pressure, mainly because we blitz here. But, Reddick is just way out here getting blocked up. Just not a big fan of it. Winfield is beat in coverage. He is on 8 right here and just gets flat out beat. And right there, I'm not sure what he was going for. This is man coverage, cover one man. And, you can't do this. That's almost a penalty. It probably could have been flagged as a penalty, but I'm not sure what he's trying to do there. You're going up against a 6'6" guy, and it looked like he was just trying to press him 5 yards off the line. I don't know. I don't know what he was doing here. He's not positioned himself well for any cuts or nothing. It's almost like he was expecting Pitts to block him. Don't know. I'm not sure what he was doing. Anyhow, he ends up getting beat. That's pretty good distance right there. And you can see he's upset about it. So. Winfield has not played well this year. He'll have a game every now and then, but he's not as consistently good as he used to be. We looked at this one yesterday. 70 gets a face mask on Yaya, but Yaya still comes in. Gets a good hit on quarterback. He gets Cousins quite a few times. That wasn't as good a hit as I thought it was. Look how close he was to getting it. But Cousins just barely gets this ball out. He just kind of flicks it and still gets it. A nice spiral on it. Well, relatively. Now that I look at it in the white here, you can see it's going side to side. But again, Pitts is wide open. So it's aggravating for the front four to, you do get pressure and then the quarterback's just able to flick it out to a wide open guy for a big gain. got to be so aggravating. I've been saying that for years. How these these front four have got to be screaming every time. All right, here's Riddick being blocked again by the tight end. Again, it's 89. He is a good blocker, no doubt about it. But Riddick should be getting off of these. I know he's not on play side and all that good stuff, but get past it, man, dude. Go be part of the play. The issue with having a tight end blocking you, it's kind of like in chess. It's like giving up a rook for a knight. If the tight end is blocking your outside linebacker or your best pass rusher or whatever you want to look at it, then that leaves an offensive lineman to block somebody else. You're like, okay, this is just a hold here. 71 holds 5. We've already looked at these. Get off my screen. Sometimes I don't know how refs miss some of these calls. It's just all day long. But again, we're not going to go over the uncalled penalties. Again. Oh, let's see. We went over that one yesterday. Oh, here's a 3rd and 5. And you can see David Sills run down the field, and he pushes Dean right there. And this is Winfield, who's right next to the zone, right? So you've got Dean right here getting pushed, which I didn't mark this as an uncalled penalty because the ball's not in the air. And by rule, you can do this. He got his hand off right when Cousins threw the ball. Now, when the ball's in the air, you can't do that. But anyhow, and he throws it with Dean facing. This could have been, at least a pass defense. And Winfield's there the whole time watching this. Look, Winfield's looking right at him. He's right here. The ball goes right here. Just no respect for our guys whatsoever. Look at that. Look at that pass. There's just no respect. That was a Rodney Dangerfield throw right there. You got two guys facing the quarterback and within a few yards of the receiver, and you're just going to zip it right in there. Because you ain't going to worry about those guys batting it down or intercepting it. Good Lord, that would never happen. When he's right here, he's right here. I don't know. I could understand it if Dean was at least even turned sideways, but he's like literally facing in good position. And Winfield's right there next to him. From this position again, you can see Reddick gets blocked by Pitts on this one, which Pitts is not a good blocker at all. Oh, no, it wasn't Pitts. It is 89 again. My bad. It's 89. He's a good blocker. That's really all he does. But he comes out, gets a good block on Reddick there. And you can see the offensive lineman is like, well, what am I supposed to do? And then he just takes the stunt off 90. But that was a good block on Reddick, man. And 89 did that to quite a few guys, and I'm not knocking that he's a good blocker, but Just I'm tired of seeing Reddick get blocked by tight ends. Okay, here's the busted coverage. We went over this yesterday. And again, this is probably 100% due to, Jackson's a new guy. They bring a guy in motion, right? And they're going to play man coverage. And so Jackson is like, okay, I'm going to go with this guy. You got tight end, running back. Levante's probably got the running back. Right now, who is this? Isian. He's on a tight end. So you got another tight end going, right? So you figure he's probably like, well, I'm going to take this tight end. And Isian's telling him, no, take this guy. I'll take this guy. And then they both end up taking that guy. Now, I'm pretty sure it's hard to tell whose job this was, who messed up here, but I'm pretty sure it was Jackson. Isian's been playing with us for a very long time. Should have been some better communication there, though. Anyhow, busted coverage, 8 gets by, uncovered, walks right in. So those were our 2 busted coverage plays, and they all happened in the first quarter. Now, I say that was the second quarter. So very early in the game. All right, next defensive series. I only have one thing. Okay, we blitz on this one. Yaya gets a pressure, but he misses the tackle, misses the sack. Look at this. He comes in. I don't know what the blocking assignment was here. I'm going to assume that 70 screwed up on this one. Matthews? Don't know. Anyhow, Yaya comes in. 65 is holding him, or trying to hold him. And look at this. Yaya got a free shot, completely misses. He goes for that dang alligator roll tackle again. I hate it. And just completely misses. He's got a free shot. Completely misses. Vita does end up knocking Cousins down here. There's one thing I love about Vita, man. He does not like offensive players, but he'll just come in and it's not, he throats him. It looks like he hits him right in the throat here. And then whack. Cousins is probably playing it up a little bit, but Vita's the type of player that he's going to knock you down if he gets a chance. I've always liked that about him. I don't think I've ever seen him shake the hand of a offensive player or even talk nice to him or anything. He's got a lot of disdain for offensive players. Okay, 1st and 10. This is the next defensive series. Isian gets beat here. He just gets juked. Let me see, where is he? Right here. I don't know if he got confused as to who he was supposed to cover, because it does look like he kind of stutters here for a second, and then he attacks the coverage a little too much, and then 8 just goes right around him. It's a nice little juke by 8. He looks like he's going to run a quick out, and then he's just like, nope, plants his right foot, heads upfield. Boom. Good body slam. I bet he was a little winded after that one. 8 was. He jumps up, though, and does the Superman. This is a nice move from Logan Hall. He ends up beating 64, the center. I think he gets he's doubled right there. Look at that. Nice. His patented swim move, but he's being doubled here. The 64 comes in, try to get a rib shot, and 90's just like, nope, zip, swims right past him. I like that. Pressure's the quarterback. Quarterback sees this right here. He's like, I'm going to throw it. Unfortunately, he's got a wide open guy down the field. So the front four are thinking, why even try? This is a nice zone beater by the Falcons. And again, this is how you beat the Bucs, man. You just run zone beaters all night, and eventually we're going to drop in those stupid one. And boom, right there, just dang near perfect. Now, this should not have been worked as good as it did. Pitts hesitated to let the safety get out of position on the back end. And Vilder should have been more aggressive when the ball was being caught. He's back there playing safety, I think. You can actually see Levante David jump, try to like mimic what Vildor is supposed to do and when he was supposed to do it. But again, you know, like, why is Vildor? I don't know. I don't understand this team. I think this is Vildor back here. He starts off pretty nice and he recognizes what's going on. I don't mind this. The move he makes here, you know, it's kind of a spin off. Don't mind it. But then he goes there. He goes way, way, way. I mean, he should be attacking the ball, right? But you see David come up, and Vildor's got a chance, and he stutters right here. He stutters, and he waits. How many times have we seen this with our defense? He waits until the guy catches the ball, and then he jumps. But you can see Levante. Levante is going right here. He's like, jump now. And you can see Levante even puts his hand up. And if Vildor would have done it, when Levante said to do it, if he would have jumped right here, he could have got his hand up and taken that ball out. But instead, he was too late. He didn't get nothing. We can look at it from the end zone angle, and you can see it a lot better. But I just found it funny. David was probably yelling, too. Jump! I think Vildor did a really good job of getting off and, you know, getting back to his zone there. But you can see right here, Levante's jumping in the air, and he's like, stick your hand up, bat the ball down. And if Vildor would have, right here, jumped and got his hand up, his hand would be right there. But he was late jumping up and then just totally whiffs. That was a nice play call by them. You know, that would have beat cover 2, cover 3, cover 4. So any zone you got back there, that was going to beat it. This is the first play after halftime. And everybody falls for the play action on this. 8 Pitts, he gets wide open. But lucky for us, he doesn't throw it to Pitts. He throws it to the screen. And Logan Hall falls so far for the play action on this one that his blocker almost falls down, kind of like in shock. And we end up with 3 guys on the right covering nothing but grass. And 53 is laying on the ground and misses the tackle. So a lot going on here. This is the first play after halftime. If you look at that, everybody fell for the play action. Now, I used to talk about our defense never fell for crap like this. Look at this. The whole defense, all of them. All of them are going that way. And then he pops out. And 71, who was originally going to block Logan Hall cut inside so hard for this play action that 71 almost falls down. Look at this. He's like, and so then he's able to come back here and block. You got two guys out here blocking because everybody went the other way. And as you can see, the Pitts is wide open. That would have been a big, big play. I don't know why Cousins doesn't throw it to him. Because you can see, I think that's Levante realizing, oh, crap. We fell for the play action, and instead, he goes this way. I don't know why. I mean, you can see he's looking. He actually even pump fakes to Pitts. I don't know why he doesn't. There you go there. 53 falls down, and then he gets back up and misses the tackle. So, just absolute garbage play all the way around, especially for the first play coming out of halftime. You know, I don't know if the guys were so excited or whatever, but man, look at that. They just every single one of them. He's going for the play action. He's going. 29 kind of stops a little bit. But they are all very late realizing, oh, crap. But I mean, right out of the gate, it's like, woof. Okay, we covered this one yesterday. We covered this one too. This is the 3 missed tackles. We'll go ahead and look at this. Parrish misses a tackle right here. But again, like I said, this is Bijan Robinson. He's pretty good. He's got that nice little hop right there. And we pointed it out yesterday on a few plays where he'll hop. Right here, he just hops. Boop. And then right there, Deion Jones misses, and then Levante misses. And you're just like, come on, guys. But it is Bijan Robinson. This one was interesting. 70 gets beat by Yaya. And watch how Yaya hits Cousins. And again, you can see 70 tries to grab, and Yaya gets wrist control on him right there. Perfect. You can see 70's trying to grab him, and nope. Good job. But then he comes around, he grabs Cousins. This should have been a penalty, I think. He grabs Cousins, spins, and just slams him. Well, booyah! He alligator rolls him face right into the ground. Let's watch it in real time. Keep an eye on Cousins. Bam! He yanks him down. Bam! I'm surprised they didn't call that a penalty. Booyah! You can see Cousins going, So, and of course, there's a wide open guy downfield because Jamel Dean had fallen down on the play. Let's look at that. He just falls down. I don't know what's going on here. I couldn't get a good view. Maybe they were hand fighting or something, but Dean was very lucky in this game again that he had quite a few mess ups, but they didn't capitalize on it. This one probably should have been a touchdown if it would have been a slightly better pass and this guy wouldn't have had his hands on backwards. Probably would have been a touchdown. And I don't know why Dean fell there. I couldn't get a good angle to see why. I don't know why he fell down here, but he gets pure beat in this one. This is the very next play. He just gets beat right here. I mean, he's definitely, I don't know what he's doing. He's definitely playing the deep ball, and it doesn't make any sense with Izzy and right here. I mean, we're doing quarters, and Izzy is right there. I don't know why you wouldn't protect the inside a little or the outside a little bit better. It's just pure. I don't know, man. And he gave the outside up, completely gave it up. This is after falling down on the play before. Braswell had a couple of good plays in this game. Right there, good pressure by Braswell. He just basically manhandles 71. Gets a good pressure here. Yeah, he's right there, man. I mean, he is hitting Cousins as Cousins is throwing the ball. Oh, he got some face mask too. I didn't realize that. Oh, he's got his face mask. Oops. I need to write that down. Uncalled penalty on us. I tell you what, these refs sucked. So, yeah. So, Cousins throws it away there. I wonder if he got intentional grounding on this one. I don't have it marked as a penalty. But I'm going to mark that as an uncalled penalty, face mask. Or what do you call that? Roughing the passer. Right? Wouldn't that be roughing the passer? On Braswell. But Braswell did a good job getting by 71. He did it a couple times in this game. Surprised me. This was a nice aggressive play by Isian. You don't see us do this a lot. He gets the fumble. Boom, just coming down. You know, I love it. Love it. He read it. It just comes downhill. Right there. Cousins is throwing it, and he is loading up, man. And he comes in and just, wow, pops that ball out. Good play by Isian. I like it. I like it when we play aggressive. Yeah. Got his helmet right on the ball, I think. Did he get him lower body or... Oh, okay. Yeah, he goes for the legs there. Don't like the tackle, but at least he was aggressive. He didn't stand there and wait till the guy got halfway down the field before he tried to tackle him from behind. Here we go. Fourth quarter, 13:34. Score is 14-28. 45. Nice hustle and nice move, too, by Jones. Him and Vita get pressure on this one. It's not a blitz. I don't think. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is a blitz. I thought maybe 95 was dropping back, but he comes in. Nice move. I mean, just look at that. Good move. A lot of agility there and body control, especially for a linebacker. And look at this. He jumps inside and then hops outside. Whoop, right there. Yeah. And then pops out, comes around, gets a good angle. Oh, he was coming. But then Vita, he's getting doubled here, and he still makes it through. Puts his little T-Rex arm up. He's the only one that consistently puts his arms up. I like that move by Jones. I kind of like him. I like the way he played in the Saints game. Okay, here we go. This is the one play call that I was like, you know how I am pulling my hair out with Todd Bowles. This is a 3rd and 2, y'all. This is a 3rd and 2. And we play cover 4 zone. I just don't get it. And we're not even, it's a very weak zone. We got the middle of the field wide open. We got 2 guys on the numbers, basically. And, of course, where do they go? Right in the middle of the field. He does come down. He almost plays like a robber. He's watching it the whole time. Is that Isian? But you could see Cousins was looking there. That's where he wanted to go. But then he saw this coming down, and he was like, that's when he looks over here. And he throws to wide open Pitts. Because Braswell's out there doing a whole bunch of nothing. playing his zone. He's got his zone of covering that grass. But it does look like he gets confused who he's supposed to cover. You can see him go that way, and then it's like, oh crap, and it's because Cousins is looking middle, so you can see Braswell start to go that way, but then Cousins turns and throws it that way, and then he's like, oh crap. And that's one where you could say, Todd Bowles, execute it better. That was your guy. You were supposed to be out there. Braswell's supposed to be right here on the edge of the numbers. Most likely. Not that he could have stopped 8 from catching that anyhow, but still. This one, Anthony Nelson gets a pressure. He gets past 65. He beats him. Let me see. Here's Nelson. 65 is right here. I didn't see it. Yeah, zone coverage definitely confuses somebody. Yeah. Wait, maybe did I go to the wrong play? Let me see. Oh, okay, yeah, this was the play before. My bad. He goes, Nelson right here, 65 right here. He beats him here and gets the pressure. Almost got to him. Almost. Look at that. Look at it. Look. Ah. Oh. So close. So close. But as you can see, we had the blitz to get the pressure. All right. This is nice play design by the Falcons. We're playing cover 2 man. David has 8 in motion, but goes for the screen on this one. Levante David, and I don't know if the Falcons know this, but he's very good at sniffing out screens and pretty much anything behind the line of scrimmage. So what they do is they do a fake screen, and you can see Levante's going with man here, and they run a screen, and you can see these 2 guys act like they're going to block. So Levante, they all go for 7, and dude right here cuts inside. Really nice play design. I like it. We thought for sure we had this screen sniffed out, and you can see how these 2 like hesitate, like they're going to block right there, and then they boop pop on out. 35 did a good job of dropping it, covering his man, but 87 gets to come out. Now I'm pretty sure Parrish was supposed to be on 87. Don't know. It's impossible to tell who's supposed to be with who here because the way they all jump for the screen. Anyhow, good play design. I like it. The Falcons fans don't really like their offensive coordinator. Was it Zach Robinson? He's one of the... Was he from Detroit, I think, right? I haven't really had a problem watching him in this game. I haven't really been upset about anything he's called. Let me see. We looked at this one yesterday. 89 holds a 98 on this one. Right here, he ends up holding, and right there, 98K. But yeah, I mean, 90. You got to get off that, man. I'm sorry. I don't care 89 is a good blocker, yes. And yes, he's holding you, but you have got to get off of that. I mean, he's basically bear hugging him here, but figure something out. That cost us a touchdown. Here we are, fourth quarter, 8:22 left in the fourth quarter. The score is 20-28. At this point, we're still up. We covered this one yesterday. Uncalled penalty. Yaya gets held here. No, 8 holds Winfield. And then 87 grabs Parrish and yanks him real quick. Right here, he's getting held. He pops off right there. And then you see 87 grab Parrish. Here's the ball carrier. You see 87 grab Parrish right in front of the shoulder pads, grabs him and yanks him real quick, and he almost falls down. So right now we're winning. It's fourth quarter, and they're trying to drive down the field. Hassan Riddick misses a tackle here. He's completely unblocked. Comes in. We looked at this yesterday too. He comes in unblocked. Completely misses that tackle. Just unacceptable. I mean, instead of getting a tackle for a loss, they get a first down. Like, man. That's probably why Vita was yelling at him after the game. This is when we saw this one yesterday. 8 Pitts pushes Parrish in the face. It should have been a penalty all day long. Right there. Oh, God. I get so mad when I watch this. I'm just flat out right here. You see his hand come up, pushes Parrish right in the face, completely turns his head. Now, granted, Parrish does a really good job of staying with this coverage. And from the end zone angle, you could see it a little bit, but not as good as I'd like to be able to see it. Winfield comes in unblocked, and he gets a pressure here on Cousins. But again, you get this pressure, and then they just throw it. Look at that, man. He actually hits Cousins' arm. I mean, a millisecond after Cousins releases that ball. Look at that. But you could see right here, you could see Pitts' hand on Parrish's face mask, turning his head sideways. Parrish does a really good job of sticking with the coverage, though. Props to him for that one. All right, we covered this one, another uncalled penalty, another uncalled penalty. Here's a nice read and react by David. Thank God this is a run play because you can see the confusion on the guys when the motion is called. We end up with 3 guys pointing at the motion guy, and it looked to me like they all started to take him. So if thank goodness this was a run play instead of a pass, because I think we would have had busted coverage. He goes into motion, and you see all 3 of these guys react to it. Look, they're all running. I think they got totally confused. And lucky for us, it turned out to be a run play. Levante, though, he sniffs it out. Really good read. Good reaction. Fills that gap. Avoids the block by 63, the reach. And then nice tackle. It was good to see Levante a little bit back to form. Braswell pushes 71 back into the quarter with a bull rush here. It was a really nice move, man. And he's done this a couple times before. We've seen he gets that right arm out on the left shoulder or no, he's on the right shoulder there. And just really, or no, he's right on the breastplate. Okay, yeah. And he's just pushing him straight back, man. And look, he actually, the follow through hits 71 in the helmet. Well, bam. I bet Cousins' hand is hurting after this. Nice play by Braswell. You can see Vita pushing his guy back. We got there too, man. Bam. Look, their helmets collide. And Braswell keeps pushing him too. Wham! But again, wide open guy downfield. It's so annoying. That's when we ended up getting that fumble, but nobody got the recovery. This is when we watched this yesterday. 8 pushing. How the refs didn't see this is just beyond any comprehension I can understand. I mean, right there, he's pushing him. The ball is in the air. The ball is right here. And he just pushes David with both arms, full extension, right there. And you got a ref here, you got a ref here, and you got a ref here. They're all watching this. And how in the world, especially this guy, how does he not see this? Let's look at it from the end zone angle. We might be able to get a better view. And look, they immediately gets up. David's like, y'all saw that, right? Okay, here we go. This might have been. Yeah, I mean, look, you can see his arm right there. Just straight up pushing David. And you can tell even by David's trajectory, it ends up going this way. I mean, you don't just. And then still on this play too, Pitts, I think he was out of bounds. To me, it looked like the elbow landed out of bounds first. But even still, they both, at best, you could say they both land at the same time, and that's out of bounds. I mean, if you've got to land inbounds first, you can't tie. These refs were just atrocious in this game. Okay, here we go. Fourth quarter, 149. This is the last drive. Score is 26-28. Vildor gets beat on man press here, but Izzy should have come down to help him. This is the one we looked at yesterday where the ref should have stopped the clock because he gets knocked out of bounds backwards. Right there, Vildor gets beat on the press. That's fine. You know, it's what you expect. But Izzy should have come down. That's what you expect. You know, man with help over top. You got no help over top here. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what Izzy was doing there. You know, just, I don't know. And I don't, you know, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why Winfield is so far back. You know, this is the first defense. This is the 1st and 10. This is the first defensive play of this series. We're trying to keep them from scoring a field goal. I don't know what this is doing. I have no idea. Okay, so let's get into this last drive here. Nice execution on the blitz here. We get David, Parrish, and Reddick. David whips around the line to knock 7 away from the hole. 7 comes in. He tries to block. This is a really nice blitz. I really liked it. Got to give Bowles credit for designing this one. You got 7 back here. He's looking for the blitz, right? 54 comes in. He whips around, but see how he stays close right here? 54 has always been good about this. but he comes zipping around, but he's not trying to get to the quarterback. He's trying to take this guy, and he does. He comes around, and he just clocks 7. Well, bam, that allows Parrish to come in untouched. There's nobody there. Great design. I really liked it. I thought it was executed well. And you can see Reddick here. All he's trying to do is open this hole, make sure this hole stays open. He goes to the outside and just brings this guy with him. Really, really nice design. I like it. And Cousins had to get rid of that ball. So here we go. This is the 3rd and 28. All right. We've all seen it a gazillion times. He catches the ball. Vildor, this is Vildor. Let's look at this sequence of events. Okay. For one, 8 false starts here, and it's not called. Keep an eye on 8. Right there. And you can see we get defenders call him out. Right there. He starts. He leans back. Right there. And you can see David calls him out. He's calling him out. He's calling him out. He was like, hey. And he goes like he's going to block, like he's helping block, and then he pops out. Okay, so Vildor is back here, right, covering deep. And this is pretty much the same exact play defensively that we do on the next play. It looks like kind of a Tampa 2 with 4 underneath. And then you can see Vildor goes back with this guy, he carries with him, and then they throw to the underneath guy in the flats, right? So Vildor has to run up here, try to make the tackle, a little late on the tackle, and they end up getting 14 yards, I'm pretty sure. Now, what he had to do here was carry this guy deep, and in doing so, he made the decision, I'm going to go deep with this guy. It left this guy underneath, and this guy picked up 14 yards. So then the next play is 4th and 14. This was a smart play call by Atlanta. They basically run the same thing. Can we see 8? Yeah, we can see 8 false start here. Nah. Here we go. Right there. Uncalled penalty. And I think it kind of made our defense hesitate a little bit. But, okay, so Vildor right there, he gets beat. He kind of misses the tackle. So then on the very next play, this is 4th and 14. Now, mind you, the guy got 14 yards last time. So Vildor's got to keep that in mind. He's like, okay, this underneath guy can get 14 yards. I can't let the underneath guy beat me. So he carries a little bit, he's dropping back, and you can see Winfield, but he's really paying attention to this guy up here too, because last time he dropped back with this guy, and this guy beat him for 14 yards. So he's worried about that. And he lets this guy drop a little bit deeper without covering him. And understandably so, because he's worried about this guy. And he's expecting overtop help because there's nobody over there. This is basically, it's not the exact same play that the Falcons ran, but it's the same concept. You're hitting the same 2 spots, making this guy have to decide between this one or this one. And he hedged a little bit towards the flats because he got beat for 14 yards. And this is a 4th and 14. So he doesn't want the same thing to happen again. So he's hedging a little bit towards this guy. Can't blame him. 100% can't blame him. and he's expecting over-the-top help. Now you've got, I don't know why Winfield dropped back so far and then was late getting over there. That's what confuses me, because he had no worries over here. And you can see he's even got his back turned this away. He's not worried about that side of the field. So why is he so far over here and so far back? Especially knowing the Vildor is probably going to edge here. You know, I give more blame to Winfield on this one. And then, as you can see, the ball's being launched right now. And Winfield is just way late. He even actually curves outward before he attacks. And that makes all the difference in the world. You know, ball's in the air right now. And Winfield goes in that direction. You know, great play call by Atlanta. I think they saw what happened with Vildor, and you know, Vildor is the new guy on the team. You know, he's trying to figure things out, and they basically they didn't run the same play, the same concept though, and it worked out masterfully for him. But I give Winfield more of a, you know, you should have been expecting that, man. You should have been, you know, you're the highest paid safety in the league. You know, that was a safety's responsibility right there. And here it is, very next play. Okay, they run downfield, right? So you get this. Let's look at Vita. Here's Vita. Vita's right there. Okay, so there he is. He's midfield. He's right here. He's between the hashes. Right? Boom. Right here. Winfield's over here fighting with the ball. Okay, now we look at the next camera angle, the very next play. Their offense runs down the field. Right? Here's Winfield still, he's just gotten up off the sideline over there. And he's running back trying to get into position. And then he's like, what's going on? We've seen 96 comes on the field, Gaines. He comes on the field. He's subbing for Vita, right? We get called for too many men on the field, offsides, both on the same player. That same player is Vita right here. Just lollygagging, getting off the field. Look at him. He's walking. Look, he's walking. He don't give a dang at this point. Right there. Look, he's just walking off the field. He's not jogging. He's not running. He was walking off the field. And it looked to me like he had his hands on his helmet, like he couldn't believe what just happened. I zoomed in on it, but I couldn't really tell. But, I mean, he's just lollygagging. He's just walking off the field. And he ends up getting called for a penalty. They get another 5 yards, right? I mean, this right here would have been a tough field goal. You're looking at, what, 30, they're at the 36 at, what, 17? So, you know, you're looking at a 50-some yarder. Then they get another 5 yards. So then it's 1st and 5. Then they get a first down because it's easy when it's 1st and 5. And then they just run the clock out, wait till 4 seconds, then kick the field goal. It's an easy chip shot field goal by that point. But yeah, Vita he just totally gave up. At that point, the team imploded. You can see 95, he gets frustrated and kind of runs off the field after the snap here. See, he throws his hands up. Winfield was back there throwing his hands up. These guys they got their hands on their hips. Everybody's very frustrated. You see Winfield here? He's like, what the F is going on? So anyhow, that was our defense. And as you could see, it wasn't, you know, we did get some pressure. Some good play calling. You know, like I said, there was only one defensive play call that I was like, WTF, which is unusual. I know there's normally quite a few, probably about 5 a game where I'm like, that's the dumbest play call. Wasn't that many of those ones. Guys were trying, except for right there at the end. The series of events, the 4th and 28, and then the 3rd and 28, and then the 4th and 14. I understand exactly how everybody worked there, I think. And if I have to blame, lay majority blame on anybody, I would put it on Winfield. But Winfield and Vildor kind of messed up there, but I understand why Vildor did. But again, the refs should have called Pitts for false starting there, and it should have been a 4th or a 3rd and add another 5. It should have been 3rd and 30 something. Good play call by the Falcons. I think they saw a weakness there and attacked it. So overall, looking at this, I can't say the Bucs played a bad game. It wasn't the best game, but it wasn't like we were just crapping the bed, like we did against the Saints. We played a lot better defensively than we did against the Saints. We just got held a lot, and the refs were not on our side whatsoever. So we're going to take a look at the offense tomorrow. I've gotten a little bit through the film on offense, but I wanted to work on it today, and I wasn't able to get a chance. But tomorrow we're going to look at it. Zebra, you said you wanted to look at the play by Vita. When was that? Do you remember what? Here it is. I got it. Man, I'm good. I just went right to it. First try. Okay, yeah. So you got Vita in as a fullback. But not only do we do this, we wanted this touchdown something fierce, man. We wanted this touchdown something fierce because we bring all the guns. You'll see this. You've got 87 comes over here. He tries to block 55, totally whiffs. 87 is not a good blocker. He had a really hard time in this game because he's having to do Cade Otton's job. He reminds me of Cade Otton in Cade Otton's first year blocking. But anyhow, what we do, we run Vita. We bring Feeney. Oh, my bad. We bring Feeney right behind Vita. So we've got about 1,000 pounds of meat and torque running up that gap, C gap. And unfortunately, because Payne misses his block right there, right here, just so bad, just completely whiffs on it. 55 gets around the edge, and he makes, shall say that was 44? He makes 44, not able to go right behind. You can see Feeney came over. Feeney pulls. So you got like 1,000 pounds of meat right here. And you can see Vita, and Zero's not a small guy. Zero's not a small guy. He just really just like moves him out of the way right there with the forearm. Zero held his own for a brief second, but I mean, he's getting accordioned, and then Vita just pushes him out of the way right there. And Feeney's right behind him. Feeney comes in, doesn't really block anybody, but he widens the hole. But unfortunately, I really wanted to see the running back go right behind him, but you can see here the running back has to really go where he can because 94 comes up too. Who is that? Michael Jordan. Yeah. Jordan gets the leverage on him and is able to get the running back, but he's got this guy right here. And that's why he wasn't able to get right behind him because 55 was right there. That could have been a devastating tackle. Tackle for a loss. But yeah, Vita goes in, standing up, pushed his guy right out of the way. I would have liked to have seen Zero get, thrown back in that direction. Vita will get better at his blocking. But he just moves Zero right out of the way. Zero tried hard, man. Look at that. Oh, man. He tried. So, there we go. There we have the defense. I really expected it to be a lot worse. And I kind of felt bad after I watched it. I was like, wow, Todd Bowles doesn't deserve as much blame as he normally does for this game, but he's really getting crapped on. He's going to lose his job over this game. And it was probably one of the better defensive games he's called this year. I was like, man. What are y'all saying over here? Winfield for Crosby? I don't know. Yeah, a couple of those fumble recoveries. I don't know why they gave them to Atlanta. I mean, one, we came up with the ball, and I couldn't really see any clear evidence that they had the ball. The other one, the one where Riddick knocked it out of Cousins' hand, you could see that bounce right back to Cousins. So I could understand that one. And he ended up coming out of the pile with the ball, I think. But the other one, I was like, why are they giving it to the Falcons? I didn't see anything that said the Falcons had the ball. What's up, Rampage? Hey, congratulations, man. You are in the Final Four for the fantasy football. Did you see Max Crosby? I was talking about that earlier before you came in. Max Crosby yelling at Devin White. Devin White, man. He can't. He just. I don't know, man. Tristan to run behind Vita. That'd be something, wouldn't it? Just get a meat train going. Well, he's definitely got some work to do with blocking. That's for sure. Like I said, I've done the first 2 or 3 series offensively, and he's whiffed on blocks like 3 times already. He can cut block for the best of them, but he can't block. Rampage has lost faith in light. A lot of people have. A lot of people are calling for just a clean sweep. My issue is, gosh, I've been through that so many times, I don't want to do it anymore. Just after the decade of dreary we went through after firing Gruden and getting rid of our GM there, it was just misery. That was a tough decade, man. I don't want to go through that again. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Winfield. It's kind of how I feel with everybody on the team. They're just taking steps back. Vita's still probably our best defensive player, but he has not developed like I think he should have. And this year, the past few weeks, I've seen him kind of just like not try too hard. If that's, he's not playing bad, but he's not giving it like he normally does. You're seeing players like Levante taking steps back, and people can blame his age, but I think it's more of the fact that he's being put into positions. Like Levante's never been known for his blitzing. And last year, Bowles just blitzed him and blitzed him and blitzed him. And he's got him calling plays. And Levante doesn't like it. He's not good at it. We've seen it affect. Last year, we definitely saw where it affected the first part of the year. Guys were out of position a lot. He was struggling with it. And he's come out flat out right and said he doesn't like doing it. We've got our edge rushers. I don't feel like they've progressed any. I'm not seeing anybody on the defensive line progress. Logan Hall, I've never really liked him. He's gotten better from his first year, but he's never really done better after that. I just don't see the development that you want to see from anybody. Really, I'm just not seeing it. And I've seen a lot of guys taking steps back. I don't know what's up with Winfield. I really don't know. But he's not playing like the guy we know he can play like. He's not doing it. We got the nicest players in football, though. We get Gerald McCoy in here to top it all off. He could be the king of nice. He could show them how to help players up and shake hands. See, Winfield moved to the slot. I don't know. Don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know what I would like to do with Winfield. I don't know where his head's at. I don't know what the issue is with him, and it's been for a while now. He's glad they extended Zion. We got a lot of money on the injured reserve, don't we? Seems like every year we end up with this problem. We got lots of money sitting on the bench. Yeah, Zion's another one. It just seems like he's regressed. What exactly does Todd Bowles do again? Oh, you got a banged up team. I tell you what, injuries destroyed my money league team. I'm fighting to not be Sacco this year. That's never happened to me before, man. But then again, I've got the excuse that I've been a little busy this year. I knew it was going to be an off year for me. Fantasy football wise, I wouldn't be able to focus and concentrate on it, but injuries really, really hurt me. But I'm rooting for you, Rampage. Me and Craig got knocked out. We're playing in the Consolation Bowl. Zebra, that's what everybody said with John Gruden. And then that's what everybody said with after Raheem Morris. And then that's what everybody said after Schiano. And then that's what everybody said after. And I'm not knocking you, man. I mean, it's you get frustrated with this crap and you're like, we got the talent. Let's get different personnel that know how to use the talent. And this is one of the times I would agree with you. I think we got more talent and it's going to waste because of the coaching staff. But it's just to me, it's such a gamble, it's you go back and look at even the sports media writing about Gruden, Raheem Morris, Schiano, Lovie Smith. Every year it was like, we got playoff caliber talent and it's being wasted by this staff. We need a clean sweep. Every year they said that. It never came true. And we ended up with a whole decade of just miserable football. Yeah, Rico Dowdle. He's going to be trouble, Rampage. He's going to be trouble for us. And they've got Bryce is scrambling now. He's kind of doing the whole Baker Mayfield stuff, so we got to keep an eye on that. It is definitely a Dave Canales offense, though. You could see all the trademarks with him, mid-zone runs, loves the boots to the left and the right. So at least we're familiar a little bit with what he will possibly do. You're not going to get high-level offensive scheming, though. And their offensive line is doing pretty well, both in the pass and run. I mean, they're not world beaters, but we don't necessarily need world beaters to stifle our anemic front four. Yeah, Egbuke's not just dropping the ball, but his route running, him and Baker are not on the same page. And Tez Johnson has started completely running wrong routes too. We'll look at some of that tomorrow, but during this game, I'm like, what are they doing? A lot of bad routes on this game. Yeah, Egbuke, something happened. I did a video in the offseason about Egbuke when we drafted him, and I was like, he's not the guy everybody thinks he is. He's not going to come in here. He's not going to replace Mike Evans. He's a horrible blocker. He's not going to replace Mike Evans. He's more of a decoy than anything. He'll get his deep shots, but he's got hand problems and all this stuff. And I said he does run good routes. So I made this video, but then in the preseason, he started popping off, and I was like, man, maybe I'm wrong, right? And so then I was like, I'm not going to put that video out. And so within the first few weeks, man, he started killing it. I was like, ooh, man, I'm thankful I didn't put that video out. Now I wish I would have put that video out. Because everything I said in the video was coming true. And I'm like, don't ever doubt yourself. I think Egbuke is going to be okay, though. I like Payne Durham. I get where you're coming from, but I like him. He actually, in the little bit I got on game film offensively, he ran some good routes and he gets open. So we'll see. He's promising. I think they're trying to make. I don't know if we're going to re-sign Otten, and they're wanting him to take Otten's place probably, or at least have two good tight ends that can block and run routes. But they got a ways to go with him. Gerald with that winning smile, yeah. He did have a winning smile. He could smooze you. Yeah, right. Yeah, Joe, that's the thing. Don't fire any of these guys till we got replacements. When we fired Raheem, we thought we had a replacement. We got screwed out of that one. Ended up having to get our fifth or sixth pick in Shiano, and that turned out to be a disaster. So, yeah, we got to have somebody locked down. Yeah, the pass rushers are, I'm very surprised. I thought that Elijah Roberts was going to be a lot better. The stuff he showed us at the beginning of the year, I was excited about it. But man, he has done nothing in the past 5 weeks. Nothing. And Logan Hall's doing Logan Hall stuff. And it's funny because he's on a contract year. He's playing for game film and to, get a contract not with us so much as with somebody else. I think he knows he's not going to be with us. And he's just not putting anything on tape. He's putting a lot of wild craziness on tape, but yeah, I'm not happy with our pass rush. Yaya's, he's doing stuff every now and then, but not consistently. Same thing with Reddick. Reddick will give you 1-2 good plays a game. None of them except Vita are scary. None of them are scary. Nobody's worried about our guys. Like I said, they're assigning tight ends to block Riddick, and this isn't the only team that's done it. We've been watching tape. A lot of teams do it, and that frees up an offensive lineman, a double Vita or whatever. Our guys don't put fear into nobody. Same with our secondary. Don't put fear into nobody. We got quarterbacks that throw right at our coverage. Yeah, pass rushers dropping into coverage. Now, playing a 3-4, you're going to do that. You're going to have outside linebackers. It's, all 3-4 coverages do it. We just do it. I don't like the way we do it. We drop our guys in the deep zones or middle coverage. You never have an outside linebacker cover in the middle of the field, because then they got to worry about slot receivers and crossing routes. No, flats. That's what they cover. That's what outside linebackers cover. Flats. That's it. You covered anything more than a flat, you're asking to get beat for an outside linebacker. We got our guys dropping back 10 yards deep in outside zone. You're like, what are you doing? Or worse yet, middle of the field. I can't stand it when we do that. Or especially when we drop our Vita back in the middle of the field. I mean, I get it. Every now and then it's unique and funny, but yeah, who doesn't regress under Todd? Yeah, everybody, I think. Craig pointed out Tyke Smith, but I'm like, we've had guys do that. They'll get better 1 year and then get injured or regressing from that point. It just seems like everybody regresses. Tom's done with light. I wish we could win the division by beating garbage teams, Rampage. That'd make me feel better if we were beating the teams we were supposed to beat and beating them convincingly. We're just not a consistent team. That's really a big issue. We're not consistent in any aspect of the game. We're not consistent in our record. Sometimes we beat good teams. Sometimes we get beat by bad teams. Just we can't be consistent. Our quarterback play is not consistent. Our offensive line is not consistent. Running back play, nothing. Nothing is consistent. It's a big issue. Mike Evans hasn't regressed. That's true. That's true. Start calling them pockets. Yeah. I tell you, Baker was slinging it at the beginning of the year. Last year he had great stats. He did well last year, I thought. He had a few games though where he got frantic and messed up and everything. But I thought he was on a better trajectory last year than he is this year. Baker broke his back from carrying Todd's garbage defense. Hey, Molly. Is dinner ready? I am starving. We're having crab cakes. Tanner Hudson. Yeah, something's happened with Egbuke, and that to me it's an offensive coordinator thing or the passing coach's thing. He's just not getting the concepts. He's definitely running the wrong routes sometimes. But McMillan runs the wrong route in this game too. And so does Godwin. And I'm only like halfway through the first quarter, and I've already got like 4 wrong routes. But those guys McMillan's been absent for a while, and so I think there's a disconnect going on with the wide receiver room. Something's happening there. Don't know. We got to play it better and we got to coach it better. So our motto, we need to all get that tattooed on us somewhere. I'm going to get a tramp stamp with that statement on it. They don't even call it that anymore. I heard somebody say that the other day, and like a Zoomer girl was like, "What's that?" All right, dinner's ready, guys. I got to go get something to eat. Tomorrow we're going to do the offense, so tune in for that. From the little bit that I've seen, there's definitely some issues going on, like I said, with the wide receiver room. Mike Evans, though, man, I tell you what, watching him come back and just ball out like that just makes you realize how special he is, man. You know, just, it was amazing. It was really a sight to see. And it didn't matter where they threw it. He was up there, man. He was trying to get that ball. I hope the other wide receivers see that and go, wow, I want to be that. I want to be Mike when I grow up. Because they are quitting on routes and not trying for balls that aren't perfect sometimes. And I'm just like, can't do that. You got to go for it, man. Go for it. Mike dang near broke his neck trying to get that one. He got bent over. You see his legs? Like they like hit his ears, man. I was like, oof. I'd be dead if I bent like that. Anyhow, I got to get off here. I'm getting dizzy. Appreciate you guys hanging out. And tomorrow, offense. And until next time, go Bucs.